back again with another exciting video. I've been waiting for a while to make this video. Today's video is going to be about the Intranquil spirit. Some refer to that spirit as Marinette. Some refer to her as Anima Sola. Well, I definitely want to say this because there's other people that will say the spirit Intranquil is, or the Intranquil spirit is many spirits, you know, or spirits that died in a fucked up way, and from there on they dwelled in the purgatory, and basically you're contacting them to petition them to do you a favor. And there's a common thought also that if you contact them, they're going to come back to you and bother you and this and that whatsoever, you know. Well, I would say in that sense, I want to say this. And excuse me, it's also advised by many not to work with intranquil spirits. Well, I want to say this as a person who has worked with Anima Sola, as a person who works with Marinette. That is one of the lois that I have in my house. Many people are afraid of her. You know what I'm saying? And I say that's because people do not work with her. Of course, there's nothing to fear if you are a servant, you know. But if you're not, or you're not burned with her, it was not wise to basically try to summon that spirit, you know, without a great understanding. So, to get to my point, the thing is, when you're, I can just say this. When you're talking about the intranquil spirit, that word itself, to say that it is many, what I can say from experience is that when you mention that name, if you are in an environment, you tend to see things associated with Anima Sola or Marinette. And you tend to see things associated with hellfire and people suffering and burning, you know? Now, I say that to say that we're dealing with a stream of energy. Some people have actually said that intranquil spirits are many spirits that, you know, died in a particular way, and you're petitioning them, you know, they died in an evil way. I want to stress that. And you're petitioning them from the gates of hell to basically basically take care of your issues and problems. Well, and they say also, they also say this, is that when you give them stuff, you know, hey, they can become very, demanding and ask you for more stuff whatsoever. Well, I would say this. Now, from my experience, that depends on how you deal with them. Also, it is said by many not to work with them out of caution because they say that they're very hot and dangerous spirits. Now, I would say yes, if you are unseasoned, they are very dangerous. And I say this, that when you're dealing with such a hot force, you know, they can be very aggressive. That's why you have to be at a high level of spiritual development to deal with these very aggressive spirits. People know that when you're working with intranquil spirits, they go after people that you are close to. When you basically wrong them, you know, so for me, let's just say this. I work with Marinette, you know, and I notice that when I am not on good standing with her, she tends to go bother people that are close to me. And that is the nature of intranquil spirits. When they are upset with you, they'll go to people that you love to catch your attention. They may go to give them a message to give to you, and in worst cases, they can go to harm people that you are involved with. That's just the nature of that particular spirit. Now, for people saying that you can get, you know, you can work with them and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like good and a great. I say this, you know, when people say that you can't work with them because they're going to come back to you and bother you, and then you go end up in hell when you die. This is utter fuckery. You know what I'm saying? I would say this as a person who have worked and sent, you know, intranquil spirits after my enemy. I have not had no problems whatsoever with them coming back to bother me whatsoever. You know, I mean, I've watched this, you know, I forgot her name whatsoever. You know, I'm not going to even mention her name, but there's this one, alleged mumble on YouTube that made a video whatsoever, you know. And she says a couple of things that were very interesting and stuff like that, but I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of things she said, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that maybe she doesn't have that experience. For me, you gotta separate, you gotta learn what category you fit in. If you fit into working with the lighter, the spirits of light, the good spirits, or the easygoing spirits, then you can only speak from that experience. You can't speak for someone that walks in the path of darkness. That is a Bokor, that works with the aggressive spirits. That is something that you can only speak for yourself and say that you've had a bad experience with working with the Intranquil spirits. You can't say that for another person who has experience with working with more aggressive spirits. You know? So when we're talking about Intranquil spirits, they definitely can fuck shit up. But you have to learn or know the right way to work with them. You got to know what they like in order for them to work with you. Because for me, you can send Intranquil spirits out on missions, and you can also send them to basically harm your enemies. But with doing that task, you got to know how to do it. Because if you do it wrong, it's going to come back to you within more some hell. So as far as it goes with working with Intranquil spirits, you know, there's people that rely on a petition or prayer. You can just go to the grave of a criminal who died, or a person who died unpeacefully, and use their dirt from their grave to carry out whatever you need done. And that's a way of working with it. And if you do your proper banishing, you should not have a problem. See, the thing is, I think what the problem is with some people is that they do not know how to banish the spirits. You know, they call upon spirits and they try to bind them and have them to do their biting, and they do not know how to banish them effectively. Or they basically end up giving them the wrong stuff, and then it comes back attacking them and their loved ones. You know, see, this is not some childish thing or some, Ezra Lee, Ezra Lee type, dancing around and giving the little flowers and happy-go-lucky. No, you're dealing with hot, violent, malevolent spirits. When you start talking, when you start specificating or specifically singling out, when you talk about Intranquil spirit, the Intranquil spirit, you are making a contact with a particular spirit. But now when you start singling the name out, you say, okay, I know Anima Sola. All right, that is singling the spirit out. You have singled it out and you're working this specifically. See, the thing is, we have to, when we're working with Intranquil spirits, not saying the Intranquil spirits, Intranquil spirits, plural, more than one. We have to understand that when we are saying in plural, we are basically gathering many. When we say singular, we are targeting a spirit, but we don't know which one it is. We are making contact with a spirit. So that's why it is specifically important to have a name, to make contact with a spirit, because you know the temperament of the spirit if you speak to it or commune with it. See, a lot of people out here are too carnal. Like, I remember this one female, I hooked her up with Anima Sola, and I gave her a specific offering to gift her. Now, she read on the internet that Anima Sola likes cinnamon. She ended up giving it to her. All of a sudden, the neighbor upstairs, they nearly burned the house down that she was living in. See, these spirits work pretty fast, and they're not for the weak to deal with. So it becomes very important is that you, like I say all the time on videos, is that you have to commune and talk with the spirit directly. Fuck what everybody else says. Fuck what you read in books. Deal with the spirit directly. The spirit will show you what it needs in order to work with you. And not every Intranquil spirit is willing to work with you. You gotta find out what's harmonious with you. See, there's different ways of working with them. You got to find out what is the best way of working with them, and you got to find out which Intranquil spirit is willing to work with you. So with that said, I conclude this video. I hope this video was very informative. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe.